It's time for another edition of SIRE TV, Success in Real Estate, with your host, Robert Burke. Join Robert and his guests, some of the country's leading experts on real estate investing, as they show you how you can purchase properties tens of thousands of dollars below true market value. So whether you are looking for your personal dream house, a fantastic rental property, or you want to buy, fix up, and resell for profit, this is the show for you. Robert will also share his amazing networks of lenders who are loaning on real estate all across the country. Your financial success is just around the corner. And now, the host of the Success in Real Estate program, Robert Burke.
Welcome everybody to another edition of SIRE TV. I'm glad that you joined us. If you've been with us before, you know that one of the things that I like to kind of talk about in our show is the aggressive ways to make money in real estate, and also some of the passive ways that you can invest and make money in real estate. And that's kind of what our focus is going to be on this show. Our first guest is from Sherman Bridge, who's our hard money lender. We're going to talk about some of the aggressive ways that you can get out there and actually get your hands dirty and make money in real estate. Then the second part of our show, it's for people who are looking to make money in real estate, but maybe looking at a little more passive approach, maybe just by investing in notes and using their IRAs. It's going to be kind of exciting. I know that I'm going to learn a lot because we've got a great guest on for our second half. But that's not to say that our first half of the program is going to be just as exciting, because we have Sam Elder from Sherman Bridge. Welcome back to the show, Sam.
Good to be here. Thank you.
As always, it's great to have you here. I know you've been here with us before. What I want to get into, and we kind of know how you got involved in this, we've talked about that before, but what I want to talk about is hard money lending in general across the country. Sherman Bridge specializes basically here in Texas and a few other markets, but we have hard money lenders around the country. Tell us basically, for people who are just kind of tuning into this program for the first time, what a hard money lender is, kind of the definition, and what somebody can expect, and how a hard money lender can help them in their investment goals.
Sure, and that's a great question. I think, I'll start with this. The misconception is that hard money lending is for people that really have no other option, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Hard money lending, it serves as a tool for real estate investors to go out, acquire properties, to do so very quickly, and we can close in 5 business days. It allows them to acquire properties, have some money for the rehab, and gives them the opportunity to get in, use leverage, and then make money by flipping those properties.
Well, now, you started out talking about the misconceptions. I think that's great, because let's talk about that a little bit in more detail.
Sure.
The misconceptions with hard money lending, one is what you said, that it's hard to get, and it's basically for people who have no other options, which couldn't be further from the truth. It basically is a great way that a person can take money that they have available and leverage it.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay, so kind of explain that whole process. How somebody who's out there, if I came to you and I was saying, hey, look, I've got $100,000 that I can invest in real estate. Should I go out and there just buy one property, put all my money into that, all my eggs in that basket, or how can you help me with your program increase my bottom dollar or my bottom line?
Absolutely. A couple of things to that point. Cash is at a premium. You want to make sure that you keep cash on hand in case the scope of work changes, in case something about the project necessitates having more cash. You don't want to deploy all your cash on the front end. So leverage facilitates the opportunity for you to acquire these properties without having to put all of your money toward it. And then the other thing I would say, Robert, is that again, finding properties is the hardest part in the process. If you fully deploy your cash on one property, inevitably what happens is, here comes another property. You're just about completed with the work on the first property, and the other opportunity presents itself, but your money's all tied up in that first property. You don't have the opportunity to go after that second property, a third property, and it's really unfortunate when people deploy all their cash into that one property and then deprive themselves of the opportunity to take on other projects.
And we had your boss on here last week, Kurt, and he was basically said that same thing and talked about one of his deals of his own that he did, had all of his money into one deal. Not only does it not allow you to leverage your money and be able to do more deals, but if you have all your money tied up into one project and all of a sudden a great deal comes along, you got to look at money lost, which is what you basically has happened in that situation.
Yeah, and again, it is tough to find good properties. You need to make the numbers work. If the numbers aren't working on the front end, they're certainly not going to make sense, as the process unfolds. But there's a lot of downtime in rehabbing homes. And once the property is completed, you're not getting all of your money back until that property sells. So even if that's a couple of weeks, even if it's a full month, that's time that you could be looking for another property and starting work on that. And if you don't have the cash, then that opportunity does not present itself.
Okay, so I come to you, and I know our listeners out there are maybe thinking the same thing, but I come to you and you give me it's a good argument, but I say to you, I come back and I say, yeah, but fees and points and interest rates that I have to pay you, I don't have to do that if I pay cash for a property. What's your answer to that?
Well, it's a tool. It's a financial tool that makes a lot of sense for real estate investors. You're not getting leverage to the point where it becomes uncontrollable or that the debt load dictates the process. It's a small piece of a bigger puzzle, and as you have more opportunities through leveraging the cash that you do have, what you make in return offsets the cost of that financial tool.
That's a great point. And one of the things that I used to tell people, and still tell them to this day, is that because I used to do this when I got started, I kind of learned this early on, the advantage of leveraging your money.
Yeah.
And I would have people who would come to me and they would say, yeah, but I'm not paying these fees and these points that these people are charging me. I'm not paying interest and all that kind of stuff. And I say, yeah, let's look at it this way. You do one deal, you don't have that. So let's say you make $30,000 profit on your deal. Maybe it takes you 6-7 months to get that, but let's say in 6 months you sell your deal and you make $30,000. I take that same $100,000, divide it up between 3 deals.
Right.
I've got some fees, but when it's all said and done, maybe I make $25,000 a deal. At the end of 6 months, you've done one deal for $30,000, and I've done 3 and made 25. So why am I all hung up about paying these fees? It doesn't make sense to me.
It's a psychological barrier, but the investors that embrace this as a financial tool, have those opportunities to go out and do multiple deals. And as you've indicated, that opportunity cost of losing deals, it really, once you put the numbers out there, it doesn't make sense to deploy all your cash. And just circling back around to something I said earlier, if the scope of work changes and all of a sudden the money that you have set aside gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're going to have a hard time, trying to find your way out of that hole. You need to make sure that you keep your cash on hand, not only for other opportunities, but for the present opportunities that you have to make the most of those.
Well, and that goes into the other question that I have, or that people have asked me, is that they're afraid of the process of how hard it is.
Yeah.
But really, to get pre-approved with a hard money lender, let's talk Sherman Bridge, it's a pretty simple process. It's not something that should scare people away. Tell us about the pre-approval process that you guys have and how that works.
And it is important that we make it seamless and easy for the borrowers. It starts with a fast track application that's no more than 10 questions, gives us the information that we need to assess the qualification of the borrower. We really can tell everything that we need to know from those 10 questions. So the process is very fast. We'll get in some supporting documents. Obviously a bank statement is going to be a critical part of the process. But once we've done a small amount of pre-qualification for the borrower, it's a 5-day close. So, once we have determined the ability of this person to get a loan through us, it moves very, very quickly.
Well, and I want to tell our viewers out there that we have on our website, the SIRE TV website, we have a place where they can go, and if they are looking for a hard money lender in their area, they can fill that out and we'll get back with them. We also have a place on there where they can go and kind of get that pre-qualification, or we'll certainly send them that information. It's not that hard. It's a pretty wise thing to do. And the other thing too, because we only have a few seconds, the reason you guys work, in my opinion, is because you understand the investors. Other lenders and other bankers, they don't.
It's a critical part of what we do. I absolutely love what I do. And one of the things that is very important to me is investing myself in the process to make it good for our borrowers.
And lastly too, Sam, because we got to go, but it's also, you've got this pre-approval letter, which I call kind of the golden ticket, because now when you can go out there and you can make offers on properties, you know that if you get this offer accepted, you're going to be able to close on it because you've already been kind of pre-approved.
Absolutely. Finding the properties is the hardest part. You need to move quickly. There are other people competing for those homes. That pre-qualification letter puts you at the front of the line and gets the process done quicker.
It's a great deal. Go to the website and check that out. Go to SIRETV.tv. We've got hard money lenders around the country. Again, Sam, thanks for being on the show, man. You're a great guest. Thanks for all the information. Don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back.
The SIRE TV program, brought to you in part by Appraisal Save, your half-price nationwide home appraisal service. Sherman Bridge, America's #1 rehab lender. National Real Estate Insurance Group, providing investors with the right coverage at the right time.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to thank Sam Elder from Sherman Bridge. Great guy, wonderful program that they have with this hard money lending. Again, the focus on the first part of the show was kind of the aggressive aspect of investing in real estate, buying properties, fixing them up, flipping them, keeping them as rental properties, that type of thing. And I know a lot of our listeners are really into that and want that, and we talk about that every week. We're going to have on next show Matt from the Real Alliance talking about training programs. You can go to our website, SIRE TV. We have some of the world's leading experts on aggressively investing in real estate, getting your hands dirty, as I like to say, and learning how to find properties, or even we have a lot of wholesale properties that you'll see on our site for people who don't have time to go out there and find properties, but they still want to go out there and fix them up and keep them for rental properties or flip them. But there's also an aspect of real estate investing that we're going to focus on today and next week, and a little bit more in the future than what we have in the past, and that's really more of a passive approach to investing in real estate. There's all different types of ways to make money in real estate. We say that. We don't just talk about one. But I have a special guest with us today. He's with a company called Quest IRA. This is something that is kind of new to me, to be honest with you. I'm really excited to have him on the show and learn a little bit more about their programs and how you can use a self-directed IRA to passively invest in real estate and get some pretty good returns. So I want to welcome Quincy Long to our show. Quincy, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you here. Tell us a little bit about Quest IRA and your background and how you got involved in all of this.
Sure. Well, Quest IRA, basically we are a provider of self-directed IRAs, as you know, as you've said. And I started Quest IRA about 11 years ago because I was really passionate about the power of having a self-directed IRA where you get to invest in whatever you know best. And for a lot of people, including your listeners, real estate is what they like to do and know. So my point is, why invest in the stock market, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and annuities? There's nothing wrong with that. But if you know real estate, if you live and breathe real estate like many of your listeners and myself do, then that should be a part of your portfolio.
Let me take it back to the very basic here for somebody like myself. A lot of people, when they think about an IRA, to even think that it can be self-directed, where you can direct your investments in your own IRA, but you can do that.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's not something that is not known or it doesn't happen that often. It's something that's pretty common out
In fact, yes, it's very common and becoming more common as people know more about this powerful tool. They want to get into it and use it. But it is for people who want to take control of their retirement dollars as opposed to let somebody else control what they do.
Because, over the years, I've talked with so many people who get so fed up with their IRA and not knowing what's going on with it, and they get a statement this month and it's worth this much, and then next month they get another statement and it may be even worth less, or it's all over the map, and they don't really know where it's going, how it's being invested. But with a self-directed IRA, you basically take some of that control and give it to yourself.
Exactly right.
Okay. Now let's talk about how you can take first off, there are IRAs what makes an IRA be eligible to be self-directed where you can do that?
Well, that's a great question, and it's something that we address a lot. Basically, an IRA is under the same law as any other IRA. An IRA is an IRA is an IRA. They're all under Section 408 of the Internal Revenue Code, or 408A for Roth IRAs. So there's no legal distinction between a self-directed IRA and an IRA at Fidelity or Schwab or one of the traditional brokerage style of IRA houses. So the only difference is in the account agreement, basically what you can invest in, what you're permitted to invest in with the account agreement. Even the IRS on their own website says you can buy real estate in an IRA, but the custodians don't have to offer real estate as an option simply because of the administrative burdens of handling something that is non-traditional. And so basically companies like Quest IRA are there to handle and hold those non-traditional investments.
So if I have an IRA at some other company and they don't really promote or don't really kind of like the self-directed and I want to get involved in that, can I change my IRA that's held with another company to, let's say, a company like Quest IRA?
Or let's say Quest IRA.
Okay, all right.
Yes, of course, because our IRAs are like any other legal IRA, so therefore you can transfer freely between your IRA at the brokerage style house to an IRA at Quest IRA and self-directed.
Well, and as far as Quest is concerned, my thinking would be if I want to do that, I'd want to do it with somebody who really specializes in that and understands me and what I'm wanting to do. And this is basically what you guys do.
Exactly, and particularly for real estate, we have a lot of our staff are very knowledgeable in the real estate arena, and of course we're also knowledgeable in the rules that specifically apply to self-directed IRAs. And that's important when you're going to do something non-traditional in your IRA.
Well, let me stop here for just a second and say something, because I don't want to wait till the very end, because I'll run out of time, which I always do, and then I get flustered and and I forget things, and I go home and why didn't I say that? You guys are really kind of the nation's leading experts in these self-directed IRAs, and I want our listeners to know that on our website we have a link to Quest IRA, and you can go there, and you guys. They can get signed up with you guys, get emails, and get all types of free training materials.
Exactly,
you brought
right.
one here. I just want to show this to our audience. This is something that you can go to their site and request, and they send this stuff to you free. I was going through this, and for somebody like me who's kind of a dummy when it comes to this, and maybe I'm being mean to myself here, but I just am not that knowledgeable about it. It's very readable. It's very easy to understand. And the other thing too is that you guys are available to answer questions from people.
Exactly. We have at least 8 IRA specialists that are available pretty much any time to answer your questions.
So I don't want our listeners to be intimidated by this. It's a learning process. It's training, which we all need. Sometimes you got to get out of your comfort level, but you guys try to make that as comfortable as possible. And so, again, go to the website, you see this. This is the type of materials that they'll provide you for free. And again, just go to SIRETV.tv, and we've got a link there for Quest, and they're available to help you with this. But now let's go back to, as a real estate is somebody who wants to invest in real estate, but is just looking for a good return. Somebody who may not be happy with the returns I'm getting, or I just want to have more control and know more about where my money is being invested. If I want to invest in loaning people money in real estate, what can I do with this self-directed IRA in regards to real estate?
Well, ironically, the IRS only tells you what you cannot do. You cannot invest in life insurance contracts or collectibles. So pretty much anything else, any other way you can think of to invest, pretty much you're going to be able to do that in IRA. So for the real estate arena, for example, you can buy real estate itself, fee simple title to real estate. You can also buy, as you mentioned, notes secured by real estate. And those can be brand new notes that are created, or notes that have been created and are being bought at a discount. That's a real interesting area. And also you can invest in private placements, private things like limited partnerships, LLCs, trusts, and things like that, many of which, you won't be surprised to hear, have real estate in them. So for example,
a lot of the hard money lenders, don't they work kind of hand in hand with you guys?
Absolutely. The hard money lenders refer people that have IRAs to a self-directed IRA at Quest, and then they use those funds to lend to investors. That's another way of doing it.
So for somebody who wants to invest in real estate, let's say to loan money to somebody who's going to go out there and buy properties, but they don't really know that either,
Right.
They can hand that to an expert who does do that. They can say, okay, my IRA will loan you money. You can
Exactly.
go out there and put it with your business model and invest it, and you're going to watch that over for me, and I'm going to get this yield, and I know basically what my money's into.
Exactly right. That's exactly what a lot of people do with the hard money lenders and other funds. They have many funds that are directed in that way.
Well, there's so much to cover. We talked about, we've got just a few minutes to talk about this, and that's what makes it kind of fun, is the fact that there's so much to talk to and we can't get to it. What I want to do is, because we're out of time basically, I want you to come back next week and we want to talk about some of the things you can and cannot do and go into a little bit more specifics of that. Fair
Okay.
enough? Will you hang around and
That'll be
come
perfect.
back next week?
Okay, we'll see you then.
Hey, I want to thank you for coming down and being here, Quincy.
Well, thank
You're
you.
a great guest.
Okay.
Very informative. We're going to have him next week because there's so many more questions that I have for him. So we'll have him back next week and we'll be able to answer more questions. Until then, we'll be right back to wrap up the show, guys. Don't go anywhere.
The SIRE TV program, brought to you in part by New Western, America's #1 source for investment properties. The Real Alliance, leading individuals to success through real estate investing.
Well, everybody, welcome back. That's another edition of the SIRE TV program. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it as informative as I did. This is one of those programs that I really learned a lot myself. I want to thank our guest, Quincy Long from Quest IRA. Something that I don't know a whole lot about, to be honest with you, so it's always interesting to talk with these guys. Some fantastic programs as far as how to passively invest in real estate. It's one of the big things that I like is that we talk about on this show ways that you can aggressively invest in real estate. By that I mean kind of getting your hands dirty, going out there and finding properties, being involved in the rehab, dealing with the contractors, selling the properties, being involved with that process, going to the title company, getting your check. Fantastic way of making some good money. And we spend a lot of time on this show talking about that. We have our guys from Sherman Bridge, our hard money lenders, and again, Sam Elmer, who was here, great guest and great guy. We have those hard money lenders across the country. You can go to our website and you will see we have a box there on our website on the front page where you can fill out information about yourself and the type of deal you're looking for. Really, more importantly, where you're located, because then we will send you back, get back in touch with you, usually by email, of a hard money lender in your area that you can then call and start having a one-on-one relationship with. And they know your area, they know your state, they kind of specialize in that. So they're going to understand you, they're going to understand the area that you're from. So be sure and do that. Again, dealing more on the aggressive side of this. We have Matt from the Real Alliance, who's on our shows on a regular basis. For people, again, aggressive in their investing, want to learn how to do this from the start to finish. That's a fantastic way, and it's what most people focus on. But I also want to spend some time on our show talking about the passive ways that you can invest in real estate. A lot of our listeners, a lot of our viewers, they want to kind of get on this train of real estate investing. They see people making money in it, but it's really not for them. It's not really kind of their personality, or they're maybe retired, full-time jobs, but they want to kind of get in on it. They want to make money in real estate. And we're going to be talking about, we talked about it this week, we're going to talk about it next week and in weeks to come, about ways that you can passively invest in real estate. Quest IRA, kind of the leading experts on self-directed IRAs, where you can effectively invest in real estate through your IRA. Be sure to go to the website because we have a link there to Quest IRA. You can get materials like this that they basically will send you at no cost. I was looking at this. It's really kind of cool. It's kind of like on my level. It's very easy to understand. It's like self-directed IRAs for dummies. I don't mean to be offensive to anybody, but it's just easy to understand, and I need that, and I know a lot of you do too. And it'll talk about what you can invest in, what you can't, all that. This stuff they provide free, okay, and that's on our website. Another thing, we've mentioned this several times, is this book that was written in part by Matthew Elmer. We have this on our website also. Great teaching tool. It's free. We do charge $7 to ship it and handle the shipping and handling, but that's just to cover the cost. But you can get that free on our website. Continually educating yourself is very important in this business. To not do that, it's a folly. It's going to be your demise. People who've been in this business for a long time and have been successful continually are updating themselves in their knowledge and learning more and more, because if you don't do that, the business kind of will pass you by. There are a lot of things today that are easier and better in the ways that are done than when I first started doing this a long time ago. If you don't keep up with it, you're going to be left behind, and you don't want to do that. So be sure to go to the website. Be sure to check out SIRETV.tv. With all the information that we're providing, we want you to succeed, but we want you to be able to do it in a way that you want to do it, and we have lots of different options. So until next week, guys, thanks for being here. God bless and continued success.
Thank you for watching the SIRE TV program. For more information regarding the contents of this show, please visit our website at SIRETV.tv.